So you've heard some people say that they have 5 credit cards, 10 credit cards, even up to 20 to 30 credit cards in their wallet, and they're all using all of them every single day. Now, this is not to attack anybody, but just to say that it's a little insane. And let me know in the comments below, for you personally, once you got a certain amount of cards, did you realize that it was maybe a little bit harder to manage than you thought, and some cards just kind of got left by the wayside? Well, as someone who's had 14 different credit cards up until this point in his life, and only use about 2 of them in his wallet every single day, I felt the same. So that's why in this video, we're going to be talking about the top 5 only credit cards that you need in your wallet in your entire life. And the way I've broken this down is into 5 categories. So the first category is baby steps. It's the card that you need to start building your credit, so this way you can gain access to all the other credit cards in the world. The second and third category go into the basic needs that every human needs, namely food, water, air, and shelter. The fourth category is transportation, so how are you getting to work, how are you getting home every single day. And the fifth category, once everything else in your life is completely covered, now we have life experiences. So let's go right into the first category, which is just getting started. These are your baby steps. You need to crawl before you can walk. I have a ton of people that I talk to on a day-to-day basis. They have really bad credit. They're trying to build their credit score, or they just never had a credit score to begin with. And every store that they try to apply for a credit card with ends up denying them automatically. This is something that happened to me personally. When I was 21 years old, I tried to get my first credit card with JCPenney, Sears, I believe even Macy's, and then Kohl's, and every single one of them denied me except for one. And that one is the one I'm sharing today, which is the Capital One Platinum secured credit card. Now, if you're unfamiliar, a secured credit card is one that you'll actually have to make a deposit, aka putting some money down onto the card. So this way the banks have a little bit of collateral just in the event that you get a credit line and you misuse it, or you just never end up paying back that credit line they gave you, which in turn pretty much ups your approval rate to near 100%, if not 100%. I mean, seriously, I don't think I've ever seen anyone actually get denied for a secured credit card. So for this credit card specifically, what I did was I put down a deposit of $49, and they gave me a trade line, a credit line of $200 that I can now use on everyday purchases, pay it back, and start building my credit today. And honestly, without that credit card, I would still be going store to store, just trying to get approved for my first credit card, and I probably still have never gotten my first credit card to this day. It's kind of like the most interesting catch-22 out there. You need credit to get a credit card, but the only way to establish credit is to get a credit card, right? So that's what I suggest, and it doesn't just have to be a Capital One card. There are Discover secured cards and plenty other banks that will actually allow you to get a secured credit card. The main point is get your first credit card so you can start building your credit today. Once you get that credit card, just start using it. Whether you're buying a pack of gum for $1 or you're just paying your insurance off every single month, that's $200. Bottom line is use that card every single month and make sure you're paying in full at the end of each month. This is going to signal some very good things to the bank, and it's going to increase your credit score exponentially. And believe it or not, very quickly I did this and I had a credit score of around 520, and within a year of doing this, my score was already at 700. So if you think it's impossible, you guys can definitely do it. Does that make sense? Okay, cool. Let's go on to the second category. This is going into the basic fundamental needs that every human has, which is, like I said, food, water, air, and then a fourth one I'll go into in just a minute. So if we're talking about air, I mean, I guess you don't need a credit card for that. That's basically free, right? Until we start getting taxed on air, and then I don't know what to tell you. But for food and water, there are a ton of credit cards that will actually meet this basic need. For this category, I've chosen 2 different but very similar credit cards, so let me lay out all of the benefits, and then you can choose which one speaks to you the most. Number 1 being the Amex Blue Cash Preferred credit card. Now, this is a credit card that really doesn't get talked about enough in the credit card community. The reason being is it's actually a really super powerful card, and it kind of goes under the radar. Why? Well, because with this credit card, you're going to be getting 6% in cashback. That's right, 6% on all US supermarket purchases, so the grocery stores you go to every single week. But just know that this category does have a cap of $6,000 in the full year. So if you do happen to spend $6,000 at the end of the year on groceries exclusively, you'll be getting back about $360 in cashback, which for a card that only sports a $95 annual fee to keep open every single year, with just this alone, you're in profit of $250 every single year, which if you think about it is about a half a month worth of groceries completely for free because you decided to use this credit card. Now, on top of that, you also have another 6% cashback category, but this time it's all on US streaming services. Namely, these guys right here. If you're spending any money on any of these subscriptions, well, now you're going to be getting 6% cashback on all of them as well. And another little benefit that a lot of people sleep on, and something that I think could benefit majority of the population, which is this $84 in statement credits every single year towards the Disney bundle. Disney bundle includes Hulu, ESPN, of course, Disney Plus, Plus. And even though only about 15% of the population actually subscribes to Disney Plus, that only suggests about 50 million people. So I would say about 50 million people could actually benefit from this credit card. Now going on to the second credit card, which I personally think is actually a little bit more powerful than the last one, is, I hate to say it, but the Capital One Savor Cash Rewards credit card. I know, I'm an Amex loyalist, right? But just take a look at these benefits. Now, if we're talking about the food and water category, this one kind of knocks it out of the park. This credit card is going to be giving you 4% cash back on all dining, which is something the last credit card did not actually include, and also 4% on streaming services and 4% on the entertainment category. The dining category includes purchases at restaurants, fast food places, coffee shops, cafes, lounges, bakeries, bars, nightclubs, and more. Meanwhile, the entertainment category includes tickets purchased through a movie, plays, concerts, sporting events, tourist attractions, theme parks. You get the point. A lot of different categories that involve entertainment. Now for the grocery category, yes, it is half that of the Amex Blue Cash Preferred at 3% for all spend on grocery stores, but here's the catch. There's actually no limit on how much you could spend on this card within the grocery category. So like the last card had a limit of $6,000 you could spend every single year, this one actually has no limit. So if you have groceries and maybe a big household that needs to spend more than $6,000 every single year, well, this is the card for you. Now another thing that's actually on a side note, including the food category here, is this credit card until 2024 actually gives you complimentary Uber One membership, which is just giving you some discounts and sometimes free delivery, etc. But along with that, and using this credit card, you get also 10% cash back on all purchases made through Uber Eats, which if you're a person that does use Uber Eats a lot, well, this could be infinitely powerful. Now, I guess just a side note that these two categories, while they say they do include US supermarkets, that typically does not include wholesale clubs and major retailers like a Target or a Walmart. So for those instances, for people that are shopping exclusively at Target for all of their grocery needs, you might actually be interested in getting the Walmart or the Target credit cards themselves, because these credit cards are going to be giving you 5% off or 5% back all of your purchases with those dedicated stores. But this is why the credit card game is so interesting, because it really is just personal to you. And there is no one size fits all. Unless we're talking about this third category here, which is actually the last basic human need that everybody needs, which is shelter. That's right, it's kind of a nuanced topic, and you've seen a bunch of credit card YouTubers talking about it, but if you're a person that is currently renting their home right now and you're not using this credit card I'm about to talk about, you're leaving a lot of money on the table. I'm talking about none other than the Bilt credit card. This is a credit card that if you use it to pay for rent, it's going to be giving you 1x points per dollar spent on your rent. So say you're a person that's spending $2,000 every single month on your apartment. At the end of that year, you're going to be getting 24,000 points, which could be worth anywhere between $240 in value all the way upwards to about $1,000 worth of value, depending on how you redeem it. And I hate to say it, but it actually does provide a really good benefit towards dining out as well, at giving you 3 points per dollar spent on all restaurant spend. But we're just talking about shelter here, all right? And I get it, it could be an argument for the food category as well, but let's just talk about shelter, okay? And you might be asking, well, Anthony, what about the surcharge that's usually tacked on if I want to use a credit card with my landlord? You know, usually they're charging me, 2.5%, 3% to actually use a credit card. Doesn't that waste away all the gains I'd be getting by using this credit card? And you do raise a fair point, but Bilt's already got you covered. So basically, if they already have a partnership and allow Bilt to be used for your renting situation, Bilt takes on that fee at no cost to you, so that 3% fee, which means complete and pure profit for you, just because you decided to use their credit card. So that's pretty cool. Now, one little thing that I think is very interesting, and it's a small program, but I believe it's going to be expanding in the future, which is actually being able to use all of your points and use the Bilt credit card to then take all of those points that you've accumulated over the years of being a renter and somehow use that as a down payment towards your first house. That's right, Bilt will literally turn you from a renter to a homeowner within just a few years of using their credit card. Like, this is mind-blowing stuff, people. So that's why in this category, there is no competition. Bilt is the credit card for you if you're currently renting, hands down. When we're talking about shelter, there's also some other things that get included, not just rent, right? We also have to factor in our water bill, our electric bill, our gas bill, etc., right? So what can we actually do about all that spend? Enter the US Bank Cash Plus credit card. Now, this is an interesting credit card because it's one of the only credit cards on the market that are actually giving you cash back towards your utilities. Basically, how it works is you're going to be getting 5% cash back on up to 2 categories of your choosing every single year. Now, the categories are actually pretty extensive, so you could actually choose between TV and internet streaming services, fast food, cell phone providers, clothing stores, movie theaters, sporting goods, even gyms. But the most interesting one I would say is home utilities, and that is going to include your gas bill, your electric bill, and your water bill. The only thing you want to make sure is that the provider of your utilities are going to be one of these few companies, because these are the ones that actually have partnerships with US Bank and will actually allow you to get that 5% cash back. So just look at this list right here, make sure, and even call your landlord if you're unsure. But if you're where I am in South Carolina, you're probably using Duke Energy for your electric. And even if you look right here, it does also include waste management services, which is just icing on the cake. Although I don't know if I would want to eat that cake. Never mind. Alrighty, so we got our baby steps done. We're started to crawl, and now we're actually starting to walk, and we actually have a house to live in, and now we're able to eat in that house that we live in, right? So all of that is now covered. Now we have to go into how are we making money for all of those different things, right? We're talking about working and traveling, the transportation. You're spending money on gas, or in my case, electric, and or you're taking the train to work every single day, or even if you just have an electric bike, or even if you have to take the ferry to work every single day, well, I got the 2 credit cards for you. Now, the first credit card for this category is one that was talked about maybe about a year ago, and has since lost all of its steam, but I don't see why, because it's actually a really, really good credit card. I'm talking about none other than the Wells Fargo Autograph Credit Card. This is a no annual fee credit card that's going to be giving you 3% cash back on a bunch of categories. We're talking travel, restaurants, streaming services, but the ones that we're really interested in are the gas and the transit category. So yes, it's going to be giving you 3 points per dollar spent on all gas and EV charging stations, and then 3 points per dollar spent on the transit category, which includes passenger railways, so trains, taxis, limousines, ferries, toll bridges, highways, parking lots, and garages. So whether you're taking the train to the ferry to Manhattan, or if you just have to spend a lot of money on parking garages once you actually get to the city where you work, or if you decide to take taxis a lot, you're going to be getting 3 points per dollar spent on all those purchases. Either way, you're going to be covered with this category. So in a similar vein, there's another credit card that a lot of people don't talk about as well. It's a little lesser known because it is a credit union. I'm talking about the PenFed Credit Union Rewards Credit Card. The PenFed Credit Union is not that hard to get into. You just have to put a $5 donation in. You'll gain access to their checking accounts, and from what I hear, they actually offer some pretty good loan rates on cars, etc. But we're here for the credit cards. This credit card is a little bit more interesting because you're going to be getting 5 points per dollar spent on all gas and EV charging stations, so a little bit more than the Autograph card. And it also comes with no annual fee, but one interesting thing that I found was that it actually has a 3 points per dollar spent category on supermarkets, but it does actually include most Targets and most Walmart supercenters, which is usually very rare for any credit cards to include those 2 retailers, which makes it actually fairly powerful on its own. And then thirdly, but lastly, the credit card that we love to hate, which is the Amex Green Card. Just bite the bullet and get rid of this card. I know, it's often touted as like the worst American Express credit card, but I don't know, hear me out. Yes, it does sport a $150 annual fee. I've since canceled mine. You guys saw my video recently where I canceled it. Now, this credit card also gives you 3 points per dollar spent on the transit category, which includes but not limited to hotels, cruises, tours, campgrounds, parking garages. But the most interesting one is Airbnb and VRBO, and I believe HomeAway as well, but nobody really talks about that. I've seen a lot of people online that want to live out of Airbnbs full time, so this way there's no contract, you get to move around, the house is fully furnished. Then this credit card could possibly outweigh the annual fee very easily. And the fact that American Express does have a really good system for transferring membership reward points to travel partners, thus giving you a little bit extra value on the long term if you decide to use those points for travel. Whereas the Autograph card and the credit union credit card don't really have those transfer partners, so their points are worth a lot less than what you would be able to get with American Express points. So it's not exactly a one-to-one comparison, and depending on how you value those points, American Express points could be worth a lot more. Which again is personal to you, which is what Sledge would say, do your research.
Do your research.
And man, just talking about hotels and timeshares and Airbnbs, just all different places that I could stay, is kind of reminding me that I have a goal to hit 10,000 subscribers by the end of the year. I'm talking January 1st. If we hit 10,000 subscribers, I'm going to be staying at the most dangerous hotel in America. So make sure to subscribe to make that goal happen, because I'm equally excited and afraid to do that at the same time. All right. So now that everything in life is completely covered, now we can focus on the finer things in life. So now let's try to have a little bit more fun with our credit cards, shall we? The last category is life experiences. We're trying to enhance the human experience. And we're going to be doing that with one of the highest highest tiered credit cards available today, and it's not going to be the one that you think. Most people are going to be telling you, the Platinum card, or the Venture X credit card, or even the Chase Sapphire Reserve. These are all credit cards that are going to enhance your human experience, right? Wrong. That's right, I'm talking about none of those today. And while those are good travel credit cards, and they do gain you access to some lounges and credits just to overall help you travel, but this credit card is going to be doing all of that and then some. I'm talking about none other than the most powerful card in the world, the Hilton Aspire card. A lot of you guys are saying, I knew what you were doing there. Okay, I get it. So for those of you who are unaware, the Hilton Aspire card comes with a plethora of benefits. Namely, the three biggest, which are a yearly $250 resort credit. This is a credit that could be used at any resort property, so you just got to make sure that the Hilton that you're staying at actually is classified as a resort property, and you could find that all through typing in Hilton Resort Properties. And after you book and pay in full with the Aspire card, you're going to be getting a statement credit back within 8 weeks of $250, which honestly, for a resort stay, usually they are around $250, maybe a little bit more on some occasions. So that essentially means like one free stay every single year. And secondly, you're going to be getting another yearly $250 credit towards airline incidental fees, which includes things like flight upgrades, flight changes, or just in-flight food and beverages, and even checked bags. If you're someone like me, who in the past has always paid for checked bags, usually about $50 a person, well, now for a family of 5, you now get free checked bags completely for free with this airline incidental fee credit. But there is a little known secret within the credit card community, namely from Chad, Sledge, and Calby. They mentioned that it is possible to be able to book a flight with Southwest or United, have a ticket under around $200. Okay, so I've actually learned since recording this video, I found out that if you use maybe your Platinum card or your Hilton Aspire card, a $250 airline incidental fee credit, you could essentially use that credit card to book a Southwest flight. As long as it's under about $100, it will code as incidentals, thus giving you that ticket for free. And what people, specifically Manny Covington, told me is that he's actually using that credit card, booking like 3 different tickets to add up to about $250, and then canceling all of them, getting that $250 credit, and then booking a $250 plane ticket to somewhere a lot farther. So, little known hack by some of these guys, and I'm glad I learn every once in a while. Okay, back to the video. Now, the third benefit, which I think is the most powerful benefit of the Aspire card, is every single year that you have this card open, you're going to be getting a free complimentary free night certificate. This certificate will pretty much get you a free night in any Hilton property in the entire world, so long as that it's considered a standard room, which typically means it's about 80,000 points or less. I did this recently. I stayed at the Mills House, which is about 80,000 points or about $400 a night to stay there. Got it completely for free with a free night certificate. And during that stay, I not only got about $50 worth of free food and drinks, but I also got amazing sun at the pool, and was just one of the most relaxing 1 or 2 day vacations I've ever had in my entire life. Along with those 3 benefits, you also get some other auxiliary benefits like access to the Priority Pass Lounge, which is essentially just about 12 or 1,300 lounges across the world, which is at airports where you can go and relax before your flight and be able to sit in maybe just some more comfortable chairs. And also it comes with complimentary Diamond status at all Hilton hotels, which gives you things like Diamond member parking, which are usually very close to the doors. Although I'm not sure if they can actually verify if you're a Diamond member or not. You could probably just park there anytime. You'll be getting upwards to 30 to even 40 points per dollar spent on all Hilton properties when you use this credit card, which is the equivalent of getting like 10% cash back on all stays, free room upgrades, and much more. So for a credit card with a $450 annual fee, people are easily getting between $500 and $1,000 worth of value back at the end of each year, and at least also 1 or 2 more experiences under their belt at the end of each year that will last a lifetime. I guess you can see my point here and how it's a super and pure life enhancer, right? But what cards would I personally choose out of these top 5 categories? Well, to start out my journey like everybody else, I would have gotten the Capital One secured card, but over time I would have actually upgraded that to the Capital One Quicksilver credit card, so this way I have a 1.5% cash back on all purchases that don't fall under all these other categories. Number 2, I would get the Amex Blue Cash Preferred because, well, I spend most of my money on groceries anyway, and I'd like to get that 6% cash back. Dining's not a huge category for this juncture in my life. And then also I'm paying for the Disney bundle, so I might as well get $84 off every single year, am I right? And then I'm going to be going into the Bilt credit card because that's going to be covering my rent, and it actually includes my dining because, well, if I need to go out dining, I actually would rather use the Bilt credit card because I found with Bilt points, you could transfer them to Hyatt hotels and get way more value, and I'm really trying to maximize the amount of stays, and I'm really trying to maximize the amount of hotels that I'm staying in every single year. Number 4 is the Wells Fargo Autograph credit card, because it does include a lot of other categories, but specifically for me, I want some cash back on all of my EV charging. Anytime I go to a Tesla supercharger, I want to get some money back. I'm not getting money back right now, so maybe I should apply for that card. And last but not least, the Hilton Aspire card, because I just think it is just the best catch-all travel credit card that you can possibly get. It's the simplest to use, and it's the most straightforward, and it really does inspire me to do great things in life. So what about you? If you're interested in getting the Amex Green card, the Blue Cash Preferred, the Aspire card, and even the Capital One Quicksilver card, you can scan any of these QR codes on your screen right now. That'll be my personal referral, and it'll assure that you get the best offers available in the world today. And of course, it'll help support the channel, which I appreciate greatly. And if you want to see a full breakdown of the Hilton Aspire card and why I think it is the most powerful credit card, check out this video next, because I'm sure you'll get a ton of value from it.